Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV News Express, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. The federal government says it is ready to meet with the Labour Union on Monday in its effort to avert the Nigeria Labour Congress's warning strike scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday. However, the Labour Union said there was no going back on the two-day warning strike, even as it affirmed that it remained open to negotiations with the government despite breaking its previous promises. Already, some state chapters of the NLC said they were ready to proceed with the strike, while others said their executive committee would meet on Monday as a precursor to the strike. The NLC had, in a communique jointly signed by its president, Joe Ajaero, and National Secretary Emmanuel Ugbaja, on Friday, said the decision to go on nationwide strike followed the failure of the President Bola Tinubu-led government to dialogue with organized labor on efforts to cushion the effects of the removal of petrol subsidy on what they call the poor masses. President Bola Tinubu has recalled all the ambassadors, including career and non-career. This was stated by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, through his media aide, Al-Qasim Abdul-Qadir, on Saturday. Former President Muhammadu Buhari had in July 2020 appointed 41 non-career ambassadors and 42 career ambassadors to head the nation's foreign diplomatic missions. The statement confirming the recall of the ambassadors says the ambassadors, as representatives of the country, serve at the behest of the president, and it is his prerogative to send or recall them from any country. Elsewhere, President Bola Tinubu has approved the immediate replacement of the NDDC's Ondo State Representatives nominee, Victor Akinjo, with a new Ondo State Representative nominee, Otito Atikese. Similarly, the President has approved the immediate replacement of the NDDC's Cross River State Representatives nominee, Asioku Okong, with a new Cross River State Representative, Orok Otuk Duke. The immediate past Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Samuel Ogboku, is reappointed to a second term and will remain in acting capacity pending Senate's confirmation of his reappointment. Niger State Governor Mohammed Umar Bago has added 200 million naira to the 5 billion naira loan from the federal government as palliatives, making it 5.2 billion naira to be distributed to 270 wards in the state, even as he warned that any official who diverts the palliatives should go to jail. He said at a news conference yesterday in Minna, the state capital, that the amount given was a loan on which the state and local government would pay back 52% and the federal government 48%. He said all former and serving top government officials would be involved in the distribution to the wards, and each ward would get 10 million naira, except in Minna and Suleja, where each ward would get 20 million naira. He also said a 3-day public holiday for the distribution of palliatives to all 25 local government councils in the state would commence on Wednesday. As part of efforts to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal on the residents, the Sokoto state government has earmarked about 4 billion naira on food items to be distributed across the various local government areas. Briefing newsmen at the council chamber after the Maiden State Executive Council meeting on Friday, the Commissioner for Religious Affairs, Sheikh Dr. Jabril Mahula, said the state governor, Ahmed Aliyu, has approved the purchase of items to be distributed. According to the Commissioner, the State Executive Council members in its inaugural meeting have approved the purchase of 57,000 bags of 50 kg rice at a cost of 2.508 billion naira. The Council also approved the purchase of another 26,000 bags of 100 kg millets at the cost of 1.430 billion naira. Jabril also said the items include another 44,000 bags of maize, which will be purchased by the state government in conjunction with the federal government. He explained that the governor would, however, set up a committee that would monitor the distribution of the foodstuff across the 23 local government areas of the state. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across social media platforms using @Global TV and G and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, federal government to demolish multi-billion naira Lagos private jet terminals in a bid to expand the airport. We'll be back right after this short break with this and other stories for you. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts. The News Express from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Betta Edu, says no fewer than 8.3 million Nigerians are in dire need of humanitarian assistance in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. Edu said the figure is part of the total 16 million Nigerians affected by various humanitarian crises, with the three states worst hit. The minister said this in a statement by a special advisor on media and publicity, Rashid Zubair, on Sunday in Abuja, stating that aside from the northeast, Benue in the north-central had been tagged the capital of humanitarian crisis in Nigeria by the United Nations. She said the ministry had come up with innovative ways of thorough verification of the social register for accuracy and transparency, with a promise to upgrade, rejig, and expand the social safety net program to accommodate more people through a transparent process. The federal government has said it will demolish two multi-billion private jet terminals and aircraft hangars to pave the way for the expansion of the newly inaugurated international terminal of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, who made the disclosure during an inspection of facilities at the Lagos Airport on Thursday, said the private jet terminals were obstructing the expansion of the apron size of the new Chinese-built terminal, which was opened in March 2022. According to him, the apron size of the new international terminal is not adequate to accommodate jumbo planes operating international routes. Keyamo emphasized the need to provide a better traveling experience for Nigerian passengers passing through the airport. Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, says Nigeria has lost over 6 trillion naira to tax waivers. He said instead of granting tax waivers to businesses, the government should create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive and pay more taxes. Taiwo told journalists that if Nigerians were paying the right taxes, the nation would have gotten extra 20 trillion naira from tax collection annually. The current administration has said it would introduce tax reforms to phase out multiple tax system and ensure Nigeria has a fair, convenient, and equitable tax system. The minister said the government has plans for economic growth, job creation, access to capital, particularly consumer credit that makes goods affordable to the ordinary Nigerians. He said the focus is on inclusivity, women, youth, making all have the opportunity to come to the table and contribute to the growth of the economy and society, and likewise by focusing on security, rule of law, and anti-corruption. It tends to create a fairer and safer playing field for all. The move by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund to attract more international research grants to Nigerian scholars has received a massive boost, as the European Union has committed to provide 440,000 euros to support shortlisted research teams in the country under the Horizon Europe project. Tokbe Togu, who heads TED Fund's team on the Horizon Europe project, made this known while briefing the Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, on ongoing efforts to ensure Nigerian researchers' participation in the globally renowned research projects, according to a statement released on Friday in Abuja. Togu, who briefed the TED Fund's boss alongside another member of the team, Ayo Ajayi, identified the inability of Nigerian researchers to organize and prepare sufficiently for the Horizon projects as one of the major impediments that prevented them from accessing the grants. Hence the decision of the TED Fund to set up the team in order to clear all the hurdles. On his part, the TED Fund's executive secretary said the agency is fully committed to ensuring Nigerian researchers are competitive in the international arena, adding that the fund is also targeting other global research bodies to attract grants for scholars in the country. Away now from Nigeria, let's take a look at stories on the international scene. Tensions between Paris and Niamey continue to mount as officials in Niger push for France's ambassador to be expelled from the country after stripping him of diplomatic immunity. On Friday, the authorities gave the ambassador, Sylvain Ite, 48 hours to leave the country. The deadline was rejected by Paris, which does not recognize the government installed after a military coup in July. Faced by a paucity of funds, rumors are rife that the junta is seeking to obtain liquidity by any means, not hesitating to use force. The Central Bank of Niamey was alleged to have been forced to give 500 million West African francs to the pushists who then financed the demonstration on August 6 at the Sayin Kouché Stadium. There are fears that if the financial difficulties persist, the junta could also be tempted to seize private bank accounts under false pretenses. Niger Republic has slipped further into socio-economic turmoil following the removal of President Mohamed Bazoum on July 26, with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, now demanding his immediate and unconditional reinstatement. Russia launched a 3.5-hour drone attack on the southern parts of the Odessa region early on Sunday, hitting a Danube River port infrastructure and injuring at least 2 people. The Ukraine's air defense systems shot down 22 of the 25 Iranian-made Shahid drones that Russia launched on Odessa in the early hours of Sunday morning. Ukraine's Air Force says the Telegram app, Ukraine's South Military Command, said on social media the last 2 civilians were injured in the attack on what it said was the civil infrastructure of the Danube. India's space agency takes aim at another milestone Saturday with the launch of a probe to study the sun a week after a successful unmanned landing on the moon. Aditya L1 will carry scientific instruments to observe the sun's outermost layers, blasting off at 11:50 a.m. local time for its 4th-month journey. The United States and the European Space Agency have sent numerous probes to the center of the solar system, beginning with NASA's Pioneer program in the 1960s. But if successful, the latest mission from the Indian Space Research Organization will be the first by any Asian nation to be placed in solar orbit. On sports now, Nigerian long jumper Ese Brume has recovered instantly from the setback of the women's long jump final at the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest as she claimed a bronze medal at the Chairman Diamond League in China. The 27-year-old who won bronze in the 2019 edition of the World Athletics Championships in Doha, Qatar, and earned a silver medal in Oregon, US in 2022, was one of Nigeria's brightest hope for a medal in Budapest, Hungary. However, the dream was ended after Brume finished 4th in the final. Despite recording the season's best jump of 6.84 meters, her mark was not enough to give Nigeria a medal. And that's it on the sport news here. Thank you everyone for watching. We have more news for you at 6 o'clock Nigerian time. I'm Uyag Mofwebe. I'll see you soon.